something like this is a bit funny, alright? If I have x outside of x minus 5, yeah, Amelia, you have an idea?
No. I was just saying there's another one with like 2x on the outside.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We can use the same idea here. Does anyone have an idea of what I could do here? Okay, we could try expanding it. Let me show you what the problem with expanding is. For this one here, right, just coming back here. For this one here, I've said that this method of solving quadratic expressions is by factorizing. And this is why I want to factorize, because factorizing makes things easier to solve. If I expand this out, let's see what happens. X squared minus 5x equals to 0. Now usually when we talk about solving things, I always say, oh, put all the x's to one side. But you notice for this one, all the x's are already on one side. You can't just get a number on the side by itself there and have it as x is equal to something. That's the problem with quadratic expressions, right? It's not very easy to solve when it's in this expanded form. So we actually prefer it to be in this factorized form here. Okay, so whenever we think about solving quadratic expressions, always think about factorizing, because that's going to really help you out. Okay, so I know that this isn't going to help me, but I want to come back to this idea. If I have two things multiplied together, one of them has to equal to 0, right? What have I been writing this whole time? If I looked at this one here. Think about what I've been doing this whole process here. Could I apply it to this one?
X minus 5 equals 0.
And x times x equals 0.
Yeah, x, well, it's just x, isn't it? There's just an x on the outside there. It's x multiplied this by this whole thing, okay? So what I really want to do, I don't want to expand. I want to say either x is equal to 0 or x minus 5 is equal to 0. And that's it, right? Then you can solve this one as per normal. X is equal to 5. This one here is a solution. And you can check it really easily, right? If you put in x is equal to 0 here, but then it's the same thing again. This whole thing is going to be equal to 0. And the same with that normal solution. If you put x equals to 5, then that whole thing will equal to 0 as well. Okay. Again, with this idea of solving quadratics, okay, anytime you see a trinomial, right, even now, I still have year 11s that they just see that, and they say, oh, get all the numbers to one side. And what they'll do is they'll do something like this. They'll go, x squared plus 5x equals to negative 6. Oh yeah, now all my x's on one side, and now my numbers are on one side, right? Just always think about when you do something in mathematics, you want that to help you get closer to your answer. If I just write this one, okay, it's not going to help me get an answer at all. I still can't see what x is going to be equal to. That's why this whole method is actually called solving quadratics by factorizing. Factorizing helps me solve equations really easily, right? But anytime I have trinomials, what's that three-letter acronym I told you to think about when you think about factorizing? PSF, right? So I say PSF, I'm trying to factorize now, I'm trying to put them into brackets. I need them to multiply to that last one, which is 6. I need them to add to 5. What two numbers do that? Multiply to 6 and add to 5. 2 and 3, yeah.
What does PSF stand for?
Product, sum, and factors.
Did you say 6?
Well, 6 and 1, that's 7, I think, if you check that. Okay. So, then you can just factorize this one here. That would be x plus 2, x plus 3 is equal to 0. Remember, you haven't changed anything here. You're just factorizing it to help you solve it. And that looks pretty familiar, doesn't it, right? This is just this expression multiplied by this one. So either x plus 2 is equal to 0, or either x plus 3 is equal to 0. And so x would equal to minus 2, or x would equal to minus 2, just like that, right? Can you see how factorizing helps you? So we want to use that PSF method, right? I want them to multiply to, be careful here now, it's negative 35. And I want it to sum to this number in the middle. Minus 2, yeah. And so because there's negatives there, I want to be careful. What was your one?
5 and minus 7.
5 and minus 7. Let's check it. So 5 times minus 7 is minus 35. 5 plus minus 7 is minus 2. Okay, and then the last step, right? I know what those factors are going to be. I just want to put them into those brackets. I've got x plus 5, x minus 7, and that's equal to 0. So, again, I have two possibilities. Either x plus 5 is equal to 0, or x minus 7 is equal to 0. Oh, x minus 7 is equal to 0. And then you can just solve as polynomials. X equals to minus 5, or x equals to positive 7. And again, you can check it by just substituting back into here. So anytime you see a quadratic or trinomial, that's in this form here, I want you to think about factorizing, because that's one of the best methods that you have in order to solve these equations. Okay? Don't think about trying to put things to one side. Always think about factorizing when you're trying to solve these.